Hi, this is Pete the Tech Guy, and this is one of the commentaries that I promised you after we ended the podcast. And I know it's been a while since we've had one, but events have been going on so quickly lately that I thought it was time for a commentary on how things are going and what's going on. Now, you might notice that I am not wearing my customary fedora. This is actually my new one that my wife got me for Christmas, which is very beautiful. In fact, I'm not wearing much of anything at all, and it's not just because I just got out of the shower. It's because the state that I am in right now perfectly encapsulates where the Democrats are, particularly the Democrats in Virginia, and what two groups have done to them, both in Virginia and as a whole. Now, the first people who've put the Democrats in a... Now, one of the things about being in a state of undress, which is what I am now, is that you see things as they are. You can see that I'm getting old and gray-haired, and you can see that I'm very bald. You can see, that I've lost a tooth because of a problem. It's just too expensive to get fixed right now and so forth. But you see things as they are. There's nothing to cover them. There's nothing to disguise them. And one of the things that the Democrats have done is by going nuts on the various Me Too and culture wars, they've left themselves exposed by deciding that certain things are beyond the pale. That now they've created a standard. And by making that standard, they are forced to live by it. Again, Alinsky's rules make the opposition live up to their own rules. And that's where Democrats in Virginia find themselves. They ran on a "we must defeat the racist Ed Gillespie" platform. And now that we have the governor with a picture from his yearbook, either in blackface or dressed up as a member of the Klan, suddenly the governor's unacceptable. And it's noteworthy to note that wasn't unacceptable to the Democrats for saying that children after they were born, not just in the 9th month, but after they were born, we'll have a discussion about whether to keep them alive type of thing. That wasn't unacceptable to Democrats. But this was. But that story had been buried, like with a layer of clothing, because the Democrats didn't want that story out. The media did not want that story out. And it was only when the blackface photos came out that part of what he was saying was a big deal. Well, that was no big deal, of course, because there was a young, dynamic black man ready to succeed him, and I had people, including one of my old little commentators from my old radio show, in my timeline saying, "Oh, Justin Fairfax will be wonderful. He'll be the second black governor of Virginia," and then the Me Too thing happened. And it's not that it just happened, it's that people knew about it. The Washington Post had investigated it and decided that, in fact, the Washington Post investigated this and found that there was nothing to it. And the Post was obliged to say, well, no, actually, we found it was he said, she said, so we decided it wasn't a story, which is extremely funny because, of course, people were paying attention because of the Northam thing. Because of what had happened with Northam, because of the fuss that had been made, because of the fact that people found a 25-year-old who's probably been drinking too much at his medical college, exposed more, doing stupid things at the age of 25, as serious as opposed to killing babies, especially black babies, because many more abortions in the black community is serious. Now this became news. And of course it gets funnier because the accuser has now come out. She's told her story. She's hired Christine Blasey Ford's lawyers, and I'm sorry, Fairfax has hired Kavanaugh's lawyers. Again, all of this exposing the hypocrisy. Then you have the number 3 man in Virginia, who was very big on saying, no, you have to resign, who now had to approach the Virginia Black Caucus and say, well, there might be some pictures of me in blackface, too. Now, logical, normal people would say, people who are not who they are at 50 where they were at 25, or 15, or 35. People grow and learn. And because people grow and learn, and people understand that people grow and learn, in a normal situation, you would say, well, this is just stupidity. I know it's 1985, and by then people realized blackface really wasn't the thing, except for Spike Lee in his movie Bamboozled. They really should have known better. They're young and stupid. One of the reasons why young and stupid is important is because stupid is the wrong word. Ignorant is the word. Tom Brady put it very well in an interview with Tony Romo when he was talking about Jared Goff. This was before the game, saying he's in his third year, and the thing about being that young is you don't know what you don't know. And you don't know these things because you're young, which is one of the reasons why Brady kicked his ass. But when you're young, you don't know that you're doing something that's going to impact you later. You don't know that you're being stupid. Well, now because of this new standard, the fourth in line is a Republican. And now suddenly you're going to have, I mean, let's face it, they can adjust their resignations if they choose to resign to make sure the Republican doesn't get the job. But the bottom line is that all of them are in trouble, and the Virginia Democratic Party is in trouble. But you have to remember, Marxism is a utilitarian philosophy, which means that the first law of anything is to protect power. So if there's a danger to the power of the Democrats, one or all three of them will stay, and they're going to stay. Why should they resign? What benefit will they get? They're all going to become unpersons. The only leverage they have are the offices they currently hold. So they're not going anywhere. But again, consider what happened to the Congress people. When the Northam abortion statements came out, none of, we didn't hear about it, we didn't hear about it. Well, they all heard about the yearbook photo. And now, the abortion statements ended up played on the air. Jake Tapper, we actually had Terry McAuliffe denouncing the new abortion law in Virginia, which was hilarious. But that's only one of the two things. The left's desire for power, the left's desire to play this game, caused them to be eaten by their own, which is what happens in all revolutions. And then came the second great exposure, which is Donald Trump. Donald Trump, by the style of their attacks on him, caused the Me Too movement to come out. Because let's remember, if Hillary Clinton had won, Harvey Weinstein would still be feted in Hollywood. Matt Lauer would still be on the Today Show, and none of these people would have been exposed because they were too valuable to Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. So Donald Trump did that exposure, but more importantly, in the State of the Union speech, Donald Trump exposed the Democrats for what they are. And again, the Democrats did this themselves, especially with all the women in white. Now, it's been fun to watch some of the photoshops of Klan hoods being put on these women because of what's happened with Northam. But what was really great about all of these women in white is because it made them easily identifiable. So when Donald Trump talked about Americans getting jobs and the economy doing well, you could see them all not standing and applauding. When Donald Trump talked about women making gains, you could see them standing and not applauding. When Donald Trump talked about protecting babies who were born, you could see them sitting in disapproval. So you could see, and what's really funny is, there's two really funny things. They stood and applauded for themselves because they were special. Where they said, the most women in Congress ever, and they're all applauding, yay, and chanting USA. And I'm sure Nancy Pelosi was thinking to myself, my God, what have I done to myself over here? But the real thing is, other than the fact that he must be the worst Nazi ever because he got a room full of people to sing happy birthday to a Jewish Holocaust survivor, but the real funny thing about all of this is that it's again the left becoming Monty Python. We keep hearing about women being strong and individualistic, and Democratic women especially, not like Sarah Palin or anyone like that. But they're all dressed the same. They're all looking the same. You know, yes, we are all different. Yes, we are all individuals. Straight from the movie Life of Brian, and one of them over there, I'm not. And you had the one I'm not in Kristen Smyrna, who dressed in red and was applauding for American applause lines, and another Democrat woman saying, don't do that, it's trouble. This is what has been exposed. And all of this is only possible by Donald Trump. And frankly, and there are people who have laughed at this, this is one of those hold my beer moments for God. In the sense that the devil's saying, I have corrupted you so bad that not only are the world so bad as prince of the world, that not only am I pushing abortion to the 9th month, but I have people defending it in public, on video, and nothing's going to happen to them. And God says, hold my beer. Again, I'm very Catholic, I'm very Christian. That I see that. And to risk the wrath of the left by quoting Stonewall Jackson, the person who does not see the hand of God in this is blind, I say. But bottom line is, the Democrats are now completely exposed as what they are. And this is very important because Democrats win when people don't know what they are. The real question now is, have we degenerated so much as a country and as a culture that it won't matter that they're exposed for what they are? That's the question that has to be answered. And that's the question that's going to be answered during the rest of this year and in the next election. I sure hope the answer is a good one. Well, that's all for me. This is Pete the Tech Guy saying so long, and you'll have to excuse me. I have to get dressed and go out to lunch with my wife.